Hello, hello, hello. I am Myles Sergé, alongside with my co-host,
D-KNOX, aka D-KNOX.
and welcome to MS Live. What up, D? What's going on? How you been?
Been just catching up through this week, man. You know how it is when you travel a little bit. The tiredness just chases you through the week. And by the end of the week, you start to feel kind of energized. But I just noticed when I looked out the window, I think it's a full moon or something like that. So whenever there's a full moon, I'm also like kind of tired.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been tired. I've been working. Like yesterday, I did like 13 hours at work. Man. We've been working 6 days a week.
And on your feet the whole time too, right?
Yeah, my feet hurt. Like hurt. So I'm kind of glad.
Soak them jokers in Epsom salt or vinegar, apple cider vinegar water. I know that I used to do that. I used to soak them in apple cider vinegar and sometimes some kind of salt mixed in it.
Okay.
When I used to have to stand on my feet a lot. Well, I think I was working in some Sam's Club work a long time ago, for a few months or something. It's like those shoes, those steel-toe boots I had. It wasn't really comfortable.
Yeah, I might have to try that. That's a new segment for the show, Donnell's personal tips.
Yes, guys. If you need for personal tips for your health or your mental health, I'm your guy. You might see me placing some of the little, like, tip for the day. So show up. Put some soap in your toothpaste and your teeth will be whiter.
Oh, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right. As you know, we do this each and every time, so it's no different. So we're doing it now. Like, share, subscribe to that channel. Hit that notification bell. Support us. Support the movement. Support everything. But you can't do that unless you hit that button. When you do, it pushes us in the algorithms and helps people know that we're doing something and something's happening. So it just pushes forward things and creates more momentum for us.
So why not just do it, guys? Just do it.
That's true. No, we can't say that though. That's like a Nike trademark, all right? Oh, we're doing it anyway. Just do it. We are also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. In case you don't want to see us, you should see us, but just in case, you can hear us.
Yes, guys. Seeing us is better than just hearing us.
I believe so too. Yeah, for sure. You can also follow us on Instagram at MS Live with D-KNOX. That is at MS Live with D-KNOX on Instagram. And we are also on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Myles Sergé. So check us out there. Roberto has been waiting for emails and nothing has been coming. So just in case, email us thoughts, concerns, prayers, anything, mslive with D-KNOX at gmail.com. That is mslive with D-KNOX at gmail.com. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we bring forth to you a wonderful artist that I have had the pleasure to stumble upon. I don't know how, when, and where we've connected. I'm sure that'll come out in this interview, but I follow him a lot and he is really dope. Dope music, dope label, dope name, which is, we'll get to that too. So without further ado, let's bring forth Dying in Beauty. And my clap is late.
Thank you.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm well. Bit nervous.
Nervous for what? I kill you?
Nah. No, just like I've been having a few like job interviews over the past week, so I'm still in that mode. But,
okay.
This is just like men talking about techno, so
yeah,
more relaxed.
Yeah. So were your job interviews like over Zoom?
Yeah, a few were on Zoom, one was in person. Yeah.
Okay. So I can see.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
What do you find easier, in person or the Zoom?
I prefer in person
Okay.
because like the connection can cut out. You can see people on the panel who don't know that you're looking at them make weird faces. Like, when you're in the room, it's a lot more personable.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I can see what this could feel like an interview. So tell us about your last job. And the guy sitting there, they're listening and just writing notes. You're looking at what is No, scratch that. Yeah, okay. That's cool. That's cool. So if you have been following us, kind of what we do, we kind of name each episode and things like that. And I was trying to figure out something. And I found out you were living in London. And I used to live in Brighton for a while. And I kind of miss it. So we came up with something. Episode 24. Been calling with Dying in Beauty. It's kind of appropriate. I don't know. So D, I'll let you start off. You had some good things in the pre.
Yeah. First thing I was gonna ask is, how did the name come about? Dying in Beauty. What's the story behind that? Dying in Beauty.
The story is very simple. There's an album called Dualism by Yori Hukonen, which came out, I think, in 2003 or 2004, and it's got a track on it called Dying in Beauty, and the vocals are Tiga, so done by Tiga, and I really like that track. And it's something that just always stuck with me. And I just like the vibe because it's got something dark, it's got something aesthetic, but honestly, like, I just didn't overthink. I just think it sounds cool and it fits like what I'm trying to do. That's where it comes from.
Because I was wondering, I was like, Dying in Beauty. It's like, like a sitcom or some show or film, gave me that kind of vibe. So I said that's why I got to ask him about the name and also about the people. Can you give us the history and what is your mission statement? I don't want to sound like a job interview. What is your
no, it's cool. It's cool.
Behind the label.
Yeah. So I mean, to sort of put it into frame, like so I've been collecting techno records and clubbing for like over 20 years, but I've never like produced anything up until about 3 years ago, where I mean, I've got my own place to live now. All of my stuff is in my bedroom, which you can see behind me, and about 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, I started to really learn how to use Ableton.
Oh, okay. Good old
so I do everything in Ableton. I do have some hardware you might see in the background. There's a Waldorf Blofeld synth. There's is it the Behringer 303 clone, which is really nice. I might sample them, but ultimately I use everything. I just use Ableton to produce, and I sat down just around 3 years ago to learn the program and to make music because it's something that I've wanted to do for a long, long time. And after about like 10 months, after having like started to really sit down with Ableton, I had some tracks which I sent to some friends of mine who I respect and who know their stuff and who also produce. And they were like, yeah, it's really good. And why don't you send it to your favorite record shop? And that's Hardwax in Berlin. So I was like, okay. And I sent Hardwax like 4 tracks. And within like 3 days, the buyer came back and he was like, hey, that's nice. what do you want to do? You could send them to labels, or you could just do your own thing. And that was the beginning. And then I didn't really have a name or a concept for a label. I just I came up with a few ideas, and this is the one that just stuck with me, because like the name Rhythm Without Reason is something about like maybe improvised music, something spontaneous, but it's also got something a bit more nihilistic, like a bit darker in its name, like something, something pointless, if you like. Mm-hmm. Which I think if you listen to like my music has got the sort of a bit of a dark edge, mm-hmm. I would say, which is quite important. In terms of like the art style, I do all the label designs. I've done everything on my own, and I wanted to basically come up with a non-pretentious, no bullshit sort of look, but something with a bit of color, and where individual records, you can tell it's from the same label, but they've got a different sort of vibe about each release. And I think something that's also quite important is I don't want any two records to sound like very similar in terms of their feeling, definitely in terms of like sonically, or I do want to have a signature sound, but I don't want to have subsequent releases all sounding the same, because I think there are labels that can do that quite well, and there are artists who do that, but I've noticed nowadays I do get the sense that a lot of producers who are really talented and really, really good at what they do, they throw out too many releases too quickly, which all sound very similar. Mm-hmm. And I want to avoid doing something like that. So if you're looking at, I mean, I'm not making any money off these releases. I'm lucky if I can break even, but I think I'm going to stick to at the most maybe 2 releases within a 12-month period, nothing more. And it's each release is going to have something a bit different about it.
Sweet, man. Yeah, it's now since you brought up Ableton Live, I have to ask, like, how long do you feel it took you to where you just really felt comfortable?
I think I spent like every free day 2 or 3 hours like practicing, watching a lot of YouTube videos and tutorials. Mm-hmm. A lot of like EDM music, which I don't like at all, but the production is really top notch. Yeah. So you can learn a lot from it. And also like there's some guy called, I think it's Bound to Divide, is his YouTube channel. He makes this sort of like, it's sort of melodic house, but he does some really interesting like drum and bass as well, which is actually really good. But you can watch and you can just get into the process of learning the software. And I spent like easy like 3-4 hours a day on a day off learning it. And I would say it took me about 9 to 10 months before I really had something that was like my first release, the Komodo Trance. Mm-hmm. That was like 9.5 months after I started.
Okay.
But having said that, you do from the beginning, from the first moment you use it, you have to think in arrangement. You have to think as a whole track. You don't just make loops. That's the one thing that I would say to anyone who wants to learn how to make techno music. You can't just think about 8-bar loops. Like even if your track is just an 8-bar loop tool or a locked groove, that's an arrangement. That's fine. That's cool. But don't get into the habit of starting something and never completing it. You need to finish stuff.
Yeah, you need to finish the tracks. Yeah, when I decided to take the plunge into it and really learn, I looked at it as, I said, okay, this is a whiteboard basically when I open it up, and then I just thought about my analog studio. I said, okay, I'll approach it the same. Like this would just be the virtual studio of my studio. but inside the box. And then later, I said I'll have Ableton control everything outside of the box. So it will be the main brain sending everything everywhere, all the MIDI notes, and then all the, like you do, you're sampling your instruments, which is essentially what I'm doing. I'm just recording the audio back into Ableton, and then, of course, dressing it up after it's in there. But as you've done, the same thing. I decided one day I'm going to just spend a lot of time in it, learning as much as I can. I even downloaded the manual, and I was just reading through the manual and then actually doing it as I was reading the manual. And a lot of, like you, a lot of YouTube tutorials, just checking out what others were doing. I said those tutorials are great because I even downloaded them to keep later, like in case I would forget how to do something unique. But I said I think when I really learned it is when I just kind of looked at the manual and then messed around inside there, and then that's when I had that Jazzy Jeff moment of, wow, I'm actually more creative than I was like 20 something years ago in this program. It's just such a lovely, great program to use. And I was just recently doing a live PA where it was the first time that I actually created my live set in Ableton and performed it, and not use Tractor to DJ with, but actually use Ableton. I was actually happy about that. So it was just good for me to hear you speak about Ableton such that way. So that's cool. It's really cool that you use it for your tracks. Just like we had Phil Petit on our show. He was mentioning the same thing, that he just pretty much uses Ableton. He feels it's far superior to just external synths, that you can do more in Ableton, which, let's just be honest, you can. And now having Note on your phone, being able to be, like the other day, I was on the subway and I actually started a song just on my phone going downtown in 15 minutes. Later, I came back, uploaded it to the Rolling Cloud, and finished it in Ableton. And I said, that's just amazing. They created that app. They knew it was just a sketch pad and not something you could you can fully finish a song, but you need to get on the computer. But it was just nice to be able to start it on my phone, just sitting, waiting to go downtown, and okay, came back. There's a song like that, and this was outside of my home environment. It was actually somewhere outside, so it was great. So I tell everybody, learn Ableton or get it if you can. It's a great program.
See, now I'm gonna have to do it. I have it. I've never used Ableton.
When you start to use it, bro, and it clicks, trust me.
You should work for fucking Native. And then, both of the feels, you know what I mean? And it's just like, there must be something to it. But like, my whole thing with it is I can't, it looks alien to me. Mm-hmm. Like, so when Reason came out, like me right now, I use Reason and I use outboard gear, you know what I mean? And Reason seems like me just being in the studio, you know what I mean? I can see it. I can, even though it's not in front of me, but it's visualized like it's really there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I seen Ableton when it first came out, everybody was talking about it. I'm like, what the hell is this? It looks, I couldn't do nothing. And I'm it's kind of like, I feel like intimidated by it a little bit, and it just seems like this is so much. And I hear everybody talk about like, oh, it's so great. It's so great. But to me, when I look at it, it's like endless amounts of stuff that, like, with no limitations. And I'm just like, I can't grasp it. You know what I mean?
Basically, that's what it is. No limitations.
What it is. And then, Phil was just saying, like, I'm glad you said that don't think about it as like loops. Think about it as arrangements. Right. And when you said that, maybe something kind of clicked a little bit. Like, I should probably maybe sit down and really try to, like, I don't know if I have time. And that's another thing, just time. I just don't have time, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To learn something new, you know what I mean? But I'm going to try it. So I'll be hitting both of you guys up for help. Whoever else wants to help, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And it's going to be, but I think I need to. I mean, as a tool, just something I have with me, and I can actually create more stuff.
Tell you, man, I think once, because I was using Fruity Loops, like I did a lot of Fruity Loops, and it's so easy to use Fruity Loops. But I started using Ableton. Basically, I have to give it to Jazzy Jeff, because I watched one of his videos years ago where he just was talking about Ableton Live. And I said, okay, my cousin Jay Denham, he's always talking about it. Let me check it out because I have it. And I just noticed I was playing a synth in there, and I said, man, it seems to sound better in here than it does in Fruity Loops. And I said, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use them together. Still going to use Fruity Loops, but I'm going to have rewired it into Ableton. And I was doing that for a while. And that was great. But then after a while, it just seems like Fruity Loops just slowly just went away, because I suddenly realized, oh, man, you can do this, that. Okay, I need to learn this one, and then each version just kept getting better and better and better. And then finally, when I decided to crack it, but actually buy it, because I was testing it all those times, it just got even better because my mind opened up that, okay, I can ask them for help. I can download things. And now it's just the point that, yeah, man, all you really need is your MacBook and that program. And you can just, especially now, like I was saying with Note, you can sample outside. You can sample sounds outside of your phone and upload them to Ableton and really get in, or put your own sounds. You can just sample your whole studio, have your own sounds in there that you can create and use. It's completely limitless. It's just, if I were you, Myles, I would just, try to learn it, when you can in your free time, and ask us, we will help you, but you'll see what I mean.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do it. But going back to what you said, man, the label, you're currently on four releases. Is that correct?
Yeah, there are 4 releases out.
Okay. Yeah. But listening to it is all top-notch music, and I get what you were saying. I know there's a feeling, you know what I mean? There's a basic core feeling of the music, but it's all different. And I think you're totally right. I think that it's special that, you have your own sound, but within that sound, you're able to expand, to different sounds. It's the core sound is there. And I like that. And like I said, everything is quality. And my biggest thing, you kind of answered the question, but you do all the artwork. I like the aesthetic, and I believe it's like a Japanese feel. So how did you come up with that? Or is there some type of special connection with you in Japan, or?
Yeah, I mean, this month I'm studying my 4th year of trying to speak Japanese. So, and I've visited Japan twice. I've really loved it. So it's a culture that I really admire. Again, there's no particular deep idea behind it or anything. I just think it's got a nice aesthetic. I think the last record I did, the Return to Origin, the red one, when I made it, I realized it's got a sort of a Red Planet feel to it.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah,
and that's something that I was quite pleased about, because these are labels that I look up to, and I've been particularly the sort of Detroit underground resistance, very early, was something that I always found very interesting.
So you a lot of Detroit influences, I'm assuming.
I wouldn't class my sound as being Detroit. I'm definitely more European influence, because I was saying to Myles before we went live that I grew up in Vienna, in Austria. So I first went clubbing in the sort of early 2000s, and I think one of my first real techno experience, I was 16 and I saw Jeff Mills in Vienna at the Flex, and it was him on 3 decks with the drum machine, and it was just it was just amazing. But before then, I was listening to drum and bass, and techno was something that kids at school didn't think was cool. But then I saw Jeff Mills, and I was like, my God, this is incredible. But I didn't really know how to arrange it, or where to start out, apart from, Axis Records. And then around the same time, like the whole Gigolo thing kicked off, and the first 80 Gigolo releases were really shaped my my early days in like clubbing. But I remember one of the first records I bought was the Interstellar Fugitives, the first one. And the whole like Detroit underground militia, the idea being more important than the individual, and musicians, in Detroit, where a lot of like car factories would close down, they would be sort of met with all these like empty spaces, and social inequality was rising, and they would make amazing, soulful, hard music on hardware. And most importantly, there would be a sort of political undertone to the music. I found that really interesting. I think for me now, like when I listen to new music, and you see what the techno scene is like, it's not like that. I suppose in Europe it never was. Europe was always more about having a good time and hedonism, and doing whatever you want, which is different. But I wouldn't. Then again, personally, I wouldn't say that I have a strong Detroit influence, but in terms of my releases, but I do really like the music coming from there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you just mentioned something that kind of struck me. You mentioned something about music now. Like you can kind of tell, like back then it seemed like there was like, how can I say? Like there was like a struggle, kind of like there was something happening. Like I've never heard anybody else kind of say that. Like you can tell in the music, like something that is going on versus what now, that's kind of unique, because I never thought of it that way, that I can actually listen to something and tell like, yo, that struggle, you know what I mean? Like you just said, that's pretty nice. That I have to listen to it, because I think right now that newer music, you know what I mean, younger kids, none of that's really happening, you know what I mean, and nobody's really that energy, you know what I mean. It's just never thought of it. That's dope.
I suppose you could say that nowadays, like without going into specifics about like world events and politics, but there's so much uncertainty in the world and so many things happening in the US, like where you guys are. Like I'm watching news, like what is going on, that I would hope that there is potential for like a true underground, a kind of like an underground resistance, like to use a term, to sort of be formed, rather than it being about like Instagram likes and being cool and algorithms and whatnot,
Yeah.
That's just what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see. It's getting crazy over here.
Absolutely.
I talked to about this earlier today, but we won't get into that. But yeah, it's like the soap opera. You never know what's going to happen. Tune in next week. But yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane, man. It's insane. It's just in the blink of an eye, things can change. You're comfortable one moment, then uncomfortable, maybe comfortable again, and then uncomfortable. And I'm not going to say who I was comfortable under, but right now I don't know where things are. But you can't even escape it, because even over here I feel shellings of what's happening there. It's just like it just follows you. You think, okay, I think I'm over here, I can be away, but no, there's some things happening here which is coming from there. It's like, oh, come on, it's great.
Yeah. So coming, what prompted the move to London?
I came to study. I came over to London to study here, and then never moved back. Basically, so I've been studying and working in London ever since, for nearly 20 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So 20 years. So but growing up in Austria,
Vienna,
I was there before, like for some gigs back in the days. But also, are you aware? So you probably know Patrick Posinger and those guys, Cheap Records and Morbid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you did a release on Morbid in '96, I think.
Yeah.
Which is really good. It's a really nice release.
Appreciate that. I still play it sometimes. Some of the tracks on there, and I think they did something where they put their whole back catalog on Bandcamp or something. They reached out to me and asked if they put that one. I said, yeah, it makes more sense for you guys to put it than me to call myself trying to re-release it somewhere. It might as well go with your catalog,
Yeah.
like this. That record actually helped with getting gigs back in the days, because I think it started the first tour doing that release for them back then. Never met them personally, physically, always through letters, phone calls, later emails and stuff. But nice fellows, it seemed like. But what was life like growing up there? Can you give us give the watchers, the viewers, like what growing up in that in that town, or what was just the day-to-day life? What was that like?
It's a very tricky question. I would like to sum it up. I would say it's a fairly sheltered place. It's quite small. It's got a very high quality of life. It was quite affordable. It's getting more expensive, or it's been getting a lot more expensive over the past like 10, 15 years. I mean, my school time was uninteresting. Like, I can't really say it was amazing or anything. But it's a good place to grow up in a city, and then just as long as you make sure to go somewhere else afterwards, like you want new experiences, go to different cities, maybe London or Paris or maybe even Berlin, if you're really looking for a challenge. But in terms of like the music scene, certainly around like up until like 2010, there was a lot more going on, I think, that was interesting than there is now, I would say. But maybe that's me just being a bit like, nearly 40, and in the past everything used to be better. But like, you used to have like monthly female pressure nights, so Electric Indigo would be DJing, and she would always bring like really interesting people to Flex, which was like the big club at the time. And that would be the sort of place you would go to, if it were possible, if my parents would allow it. Mm-hmm. But you would hear really interesting music. Like, there was really good drum and bass. I would say it was a nice time, but it's also a long time ago. And I think it's good that I've moved somewhere else and sort of built my base elsewhere, because I think there's a danger that you might get stuck in a city like that.
Is it because it's so comfortable to live there? Why you could get stuck there? Or is it just easy living?
Yeah, I would say it's both that, and also like people I know who went to school and then decided to study in Vienna. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't necessarily grow beyond their sort of friends that they had from school, or they just sort of I think it's important to have like different cities and different challenges, to find out who you are as a person, which I think there's a danger if you grow up in a city like Vienna, and if you come from sort of a sort of sheltered, sort of comfortable background, things can become a bit tricky. Yeah. That's all I can really think. I do like it, but when I go back, like a week or two is enough.
That's pretty safe there, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Welcome in. I always remember when I would go welcome in when I was going over there all the time. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've been there, but I just remember, being there, and I always wondered. It felt like it was safe, and I see what you mean, because I think in Poland there's a town similar. It's called Krakow, and what I know from that city, the people that they have their cliques of friends, and they, like as you're saying, they kind of keep within that group, and you're sort of an outsider. If you're not let in, you might have your own clique or something. But I don't know, as far as I know, there it's more like an artist town, even more than Warsaw, where Warsaw is more financial, corporate, and tech. But there still are a lot of artists here putting on events and everything. But I can imagine being there and you saying you kind of stifle because you get comfortable, you're around your same people, you're not really growing beyond that. So fast forward to take 20 years, people are probably still doing the same thing, going to the same bars, the same clubs, or having the same. Kalamazoo can be a little bit like this too. The people that didn't leave, some of them I know. I don't want to be putting people's names out there and everything, but some of them are doing the same thing, going to a particular bar, Shakespeare's Pub. I know I can just go home and go to that pub on a Friday, and I know I'm going to just catch up 20 people, and I already know what's going on within the first 10 minutes. And pretty much,
I think that's like a universal thing. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people don't. If you haven't gone and did anything, it's like the same mentality. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That people have. So, yeah.
So we can relate to welcoming city.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, people nowadays. I've heard from a few people in Vienna that, because, like, you guys, Berlin really well, don't you? Mm-hmm. And it's changed. Berlin has changed a lot within, I would say, since 2017, 18. Mm-hmm. Like, all the big corporations are moving there. The rental price cap has been removed. Soho House opened. All this. Like, it's. I was in Berlin last weekend, and I still love it. But
it was there when I was there.
Yeah, but like. People are saying a lot of Berliners are moving to Vienna now, and that Vienna is going to be the next Berlin. That's what I've heard. Okay. But I'm not buying any of it. I think it's just Viennese who like to think that they're really cool.
Right.
Okay.
So you need to be careful with Viennese people who like to hype themselves up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So what were you doing in Berlin last weekend?
I can't remember. No. I was record shopping. I bought like 6 records, but also spent my whole allowance basically on vinyl because it's so expensive. That's not a bad thing, because you just pick your music more closely. You have to listen a lot more carefully and say, I'm going to choose only 5 records instead of 12.
Right.
But yeah, of course I went clubbing. We don't have to go about specifics. I don't know, but of course I did the clubs.
Gotcha.
Did you go to the Devil's Playground? Of course.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so.
You gotta get it's evil. It's evil, but you gotta go in.
Oh yeah,
it's
just but the thing is,
you gotta that's the whole point.
And one of your, I think it was 2 weeks ago, you had Cinti on the show, and she put the nail on the head. Like, you need structure in your life if you're going to do this sort of stuff,
right?
Because it's too much enjoyment. Like, it's too much, and I think it's a good thing that I don't live in Berlin, or like I would know not to be going to these places every weekend anyway. Right. But you need to be really careful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody asks me, man, you moved to Warsaw. Why don't you just stay there? I'm like, it's less than 5 hours on the train over there, first of all. Second of all, even if I did move there, I would be on the outskirts because I couldn't be around that stuff all day long. I would like to come in, do my thing, but then go back and get out and not be in the midst of it all the time. Because as you said, I have to have some structure, daily life, and not, I just couldn't imagine it all the time. Hey man, want to go? And you just hear boom, boom, boom all the time.
You're not living there as a safety net. you know, a lifeline, because it's too much. It's cool for a little bit. Like, you know, we come in like me once a year, if that, come do my thing. And I don't party like crazy, but I mean, I couldn't imagine. I don't party like that anyway, but I see people just like zombies, you know what I mean? It's just like, what the hell? I couldn't do it though.
Like grown kids, grown ass kids staying there, you know, and, you know, just living it up every day, probably doing something. I don't know which drugs they're on, you know, other than coffee, but doing something, party after party, but still not, some of them still not having money to, barely surviving as well. That's the thing. I can't understand that.
They don't really care.
Yeah. I'm like, I just can't.
One, like Berlin to me is like, it's one of those places like I always tell people, they ask about it. It's a cool place to go. You can do anything you want to do.
Yep. But
you got to have, you know, the self-control. And if you don't have it, it's a wrap. And the thing about it is, nobody cares. You know, I see nobody cares. You know, if you can't care for yourself, nobody cares, and you get lost in the sauce. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's like the door staff in these clubs are basically your best friends when they say no, not tonight, man. Like, take a break. You know, like that's. I'm not joking. That's actually one way to see the whole thing. When people ask why is it the way it is when you go to Berlin nightclubs, that they will just reject you, and it's because you need to take a break, you know.
Yeah, you've been here every night for the past weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your face, no, go home. I'll go wherever you can't come in. No, go.
But you know, like just what Donnell was saying about people, you know, maybe not having money for anything apart from partying. But the people who are moving to Berlin there are a lot more affluent people coming who do have money. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what you people think. I hope it's not gonna die. I mean, clubs are closing down, but it's still gonna be present. But it's definitely, there's a shift in terms of like culture.
Yeah, I have a feeling. I think what's gonna happen over there, because I'm kind of seeing it. I think you said these affluent people are gonna come in, but as I've been seeing, there's smaller crews putting on some little events and other obscure places that, you know, they're not big, but they're starting these own little like hubs of underground communities. Because even when I was speaking with Mark Hawkins last Sunday, I think through his wife's company or something, there's a guy which I met that's putting on little events. It's like house and techno. And I don't remember now where's the venue he chose. I will find it later because it's just there somewhere lost. But it's putting on these smaller events, and they're starting to get these little communities for that. So I think you might start to see these things happen just because some people want to keep it going. Because as you said, I mean, the last time I was at Bernheim, be honest with you, it still was Bernheim, but I didn't feel like it was like in my face like it used to be. I just was there a couple of hours and I said, okay, I want to go, but I didn't feel the like full on grunge, like, you know, like, I'm in here, you know. And even just going around the city, even when I'm seeing people on the street, it's like ever since COVID, just a little different, you know. Like, as I said before, I felt like it was really in my face, but now there's even some parts of it like, I could just be in Warsaw right now because Warsaw's different. And the fact that before I couldn't even use my credit card, like my Apple Pay, always had to pay cash. Pretty much kind of speak German or Deutsch or something, but almost, except for those little tiny shops, you know, those, what they call Spätis or whatever. I can't really use a credit card in there, but I can use my Apple Pay pretty much anywhere else where I used to. So I feel like that's changed. Where it's more convenient, of course, and comfortable for me. But the old part of Berlin is, you know, it's just different, even in the restaurant. So I know what you mean by things are changing and like more affluent people come in. So of course they're going to change things around. But the hope is those little small communities still putting on little local things. I feel that is great, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's something Dan said when we interviewed Dan Curtin a couple of months back, and that was his last thing he said in the last question. He was like, I think I asked him something like, if you could change something, what would you change? And his thing was like bringing back the local community, the local scenes. And if you look back at what he said, it's true. There's that element is gone, but it's slowly coming back. You know, like you Donnell said, and you guys were saying, like these small parties and things like that. And I think that's what needs to happen to, like, you know, to like make things go forward. You know what I mean? But that being said, I wanted to ask you this, since we're kind of talking about clubs and stuff dying. You're currently based in London. And for at least the past 4 or 5 years, it seems like the whole culture there is disappearing by the government. Pretty much they're shutting everything down. Since you've been there for over 20 years, like is it really like a scene there anymore, especially for techno? Because I mean, most people think of London more, I've always thought it was more like a house oriented thing. There were some techno, but it seems like the whole house and the club thing was more house based. But it just seems like to me, like there is techno there, but everything's shrinking down. So my first question would be, what changes? How have you noticed things changing? Is it still a scene? And then my other question would be, since you're probably one of the handful of labels and artists in techno that are still there, what challenges have you seen, like being a techno label based out of London? What have you seen?
Okay, I mean, for the first point, yeah, there's been a massive crackdown on like venues and the local councils wanting to shut down places because of noise complaints, because you've got all these like new build, super rich, £500,000 for a studio flat, buildings going up next to venues.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there was an interesting case where the Ministry of Sound Club, I've never actually been, but it's infamous, and it's an establishment in London, that they were sued by one of the property developers that had built a like luxury condo next to it due to noise complaint, but the judge threw it out because the property developer should have done the due diligence to sort of find out, no, you're living next to London's like most famous nightclub, you're going to have noise there. So it's not always successful that these places get shut down, but obviously like Ministry is probably got some serious establishment people and money behind it. But in terms of like, for me personally, London took a big hit when there was a club called The End in Holborn, which was really good. That was run by, I think it was Mr. C. That was an amazing venue. I saw like Stacey Pullen, John Aquaweaver there, like again when I was like 17. It was just so cool. And then there was another one there was a club called Turnmills, which was the sort of Berlin equivalent of the London up until about 2003. And then I think in 2012, a really small, really good venue called Plastic People closed, which they did really good like dubstep nights, which I was really into for some time. That was a really good venue with a 360 Function 1 sound system, but it was only like 200 people capacity, I think. That was a really interesting, good venue. That closed. Nowadays, there's a lot of like makeshift venues which they get cultural grants, but there's no like real permanent sort of. I don't think these places are going to be existing for a long time. Like sort of makeshift sort of venues underneath like train arches that I've heard of. There's one really good club which is called Fold. That's a proper good techno club. Again, I don't want to go into too much about why it's so amazing, but it's a proper scene, and it's a home for their sort of parties, which are really good. And I've also heard that there's a lot of like underground / private events where you actually need. I don't have Facebook, so I can't sign up to it. And you need to know people in order to get in, which is fine. but it goes against my personal like understanding of what like techno ethos is. You know, it's not about exclusivity, it's more about being inclusive. So I've never warmed up to that idea of going to completely like private. You have to know someone to get in, you know, you have to be on some guest list to get in. That's not something that's ever interested me. Where I live in South London, like just up the road, there's a nice sort of pub which on the weekends they do like reggae nights, like with vinyl DJs and MCs, and that's really cool. That's proper community based sort of event, and it's like reggae and dancehall, which, you know, if it's played right and the vibe is nice, it's amazing. I think in general though, in London, what I've usually experienced, which is something that puts me off going out, is the crowd tend to be a lot more edgy than in some other cities, where people on the weekend, they just want to get drunk, you know, they want to do whatever, they want to meet someone they can go home and sleep with, you know, all within like 5 hours. So it leads to quite a bit of an aggressive dynamic sometimes, where I've seen like fights break out in some clubs because people have been drinking too much and arguing about something or other, you know. And the doors, you know, are usually not selective, so the vibe is quite different. But there is really good, there are some really good interesting artists whose like the names I don't actually sort of remember right now, but that are sort of quite up and coming. But in terms of like my challenges as a label, I wouldn't know anything because I get my vinyl pressed and distributed through Holland. So I'm with Triple Vision. So they do everything. So I've never had an issue. But like I only DJ vinyl. I've not had any proper London gigs. I think like the only time I ever played in a real club in the last like few years was in Berlin earlier this year, where I played at About Blank. But in London, from what I've been told, is that promoters, they will look at your Instagram following and see how many people, you know, are following you. Yeah, that's where it's come, and it's the wrong kind of hype. But on the other hand, a venue can't afford to basically not have anyone turn up. That's the other way to see it. Unfortunately, that's how it is. So I think if you've got anything under like 2,000 followers, it's going to be hard to get booked in any sort of major club. From what I've been told. You know, and
under 2,000. Wow.
I think it's something like that, or even 5,000. Yeah, that's all I can sort of. That's from what I've heard. Yeah.
See, that can make people cheat. That's why some of them are buying their followers.
I'm sure they are. Man. I'm sure.
If you look at some of those accounts, you just even go through, you can see it looks like somebody's aunt over in Indonesia. They're friendless, you know, or something like that. So, yeah.
It's a sad state of affairs.
But that's a common thing, though, because like us, for example, like I don't get booked, well, barely booked in my hometown at all, or for my state for that matter, unless somebody I know is actually doing something, you know what I mean? But I think that's a universal thing. I think I won't say you're taken for granted, but nobody's really looking, you know what I mean? And that's, I think most of my career, that's what it's been. You know what I mean? I had to actually go get outside of my fishbowl in order to get noticed. And even then, notice outside of my fishbowl, people back in my fishbowl still don't notice. So it's kind of crazy like that, bro.
Yeah. I mean, and just to add on, like the Corsica Studios Club, which is like an institution, that's closing next year. And that's where they would have various kind of techno nights, but particularly the Jaded parties were like, that was the big after hour in London for, I think, 12 years. And there are again, I don't know them well, but they're very, very nice people who really know their stuff, and a lot of big names came through that, and that club is now closing, and it's a huge shame. And more recently, there is an after hour there called Snooze, like Snooze. They do really nice sort of after hours with a good underground vibe. It's not aggressive. It's, you know, people just having a good time. So these are sort of things that are still there. The people are there, but the whole environment isn't conducive to establishing a scene, if you like. That's basically what I think.
Yeah. It's just crazy, man. It's how stuff is just changing right before your eyes. You know what I mean? The world, the whole scene, everything. But hopefully something that come out for the best, you know what I mean, in the long run. But it just sucks sometimes. But it's life, I guess, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. And then, you know, it's that sad thing about the clubs basing it on the followers. It doesn't mean that just because someone has 50,000 that people are going to show up for the event. That's the whole crazy part, because you're like, oh, he's got 10 million followers. So these are followers from all over the world too. Like, someone's not going to fly in from Mexico or, you know, some other corner to come at the event. So that's what it seems like there should be the way. Maybe check local fans, because okay, these people are here in the city. They're actually going to show up. That's just something with how they think. Oh, if it's that, then they're gonna come. And then, man, so many times over here in Warsaw, I played with different folks, and it wasn't like it made a big difference, because only Oscar Malero, I played with him a couple months back. That was a pretty good night. But then I played on another night where it was just all locals, and that was even more than what, you know, Oscar Malero brought when I played there. So it's like, you know, and it was one of the nights where, man, I know they asked me to do it a couple months ago, but I really don't feel like getting up, going down there at 3 a.m. to go play 3 to 6 now. I hope they don't let me just sleep and, oh, we're gonna do the party, so please come. Oh, but this packed. It's a line around the door, and it's all local, so I don't get that part. But I mean, I guess, you know, maybe they get sponsors too, and they're like, you got to follow these guidelines or some of them or whatever. You know, but it's not going to make me go out and buy a bunch of fake followers, guys. I want to just, you know, do things the right way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying just because people have a lot of followers that they're not, but I know some of you guys out there, you wonder, and man, I can't level up to some of these guys. That's because some of you are doing it the right way. You're not cheating. You're just playing the straight lace. Over time, you will get the numbers. It just won't be right away.
I think it just goes back to like some of the people, like I know like Zach DVS1 and a couple other people are doing these parties. He's been doing it for years, like this whole element, and I think I said it with Cynthia the other day. This DJ as a superstar. You know what I mean? And I think it comes back to that. So you're a club and it's like, okay, well, you have 1 million followers, of course, like we're going to book you, but that doesn't mean 1 million people are going to come to the club. Doesn't even mean 20 people are going to come. And I think it all boils down to I think we need to get back to the essence, to the basics. You know, it wasn't never about, oh, this DJ, he's this, he's that. It was always the music. You know what I mean? You came because the music was good, and Joe Blow just happens to play that music. Yeah. It wasn't, I'm coming to see Joe Blow and I don't give a F what he's playing. I just want to see Joe Blow. Then what's the whole purpose? You know what I mean? So I like these ideas of, I think if I want to throw a couple of parties like next year, and I'm going to actually try it. I'm going to have my lineup and maybe do something like style. You don't know who's playing.
Yep.
This is a party. Come check it out. You may or may not know who, some be big, famous, or whatever. Just come. And I'm also going to try to do the thing where you won't even see the DJ. Hide them.
Like behind the curtain or something.
Well, even behind the speakers. like, the whole party, I think I haven't been to one, but I would love to. Zach, that's a plug. Come invite us out. But this big wall of sound, all you see is speakers. That's all you need to know. You don't need
Mhm.
somebody's there. I just know I'm at this party. It's dark as fuck. It's good ass music. The sound is great. And that's it. It doesn't have to be this huge, major, like Hollywood production. You know what I mean? It takes away from so much stuff.
Hell, you could even do the silent disco type of thing. You don't see the DJ come put your headphones on and dance over here.
You can't hear, but just like that to know, like, hey, it's a party here. Who's playing? Don't worry about it. Just go enjoy it.
Just come show up.
You can enjoy it and have fun. You know what I mean?
Because back in the day when we were going to a lot of those illegal raves, we weren't really, okay, they got the flyers made, but I wasn't actually paying attention to who. Maybe I knew Richie was playing, or Kiko or somebody, but it wasn't the reason I was going to the party to see them. It was the whole thing of the party, because then they had it really entertained. Okay, I got techno in this room, house music in this room, drum and bass over here, and ambient over there, and I can go over here and get me some food, some merchandise, and over here I can actually talk. So it was like the whole thing in one, Not that, I didn't spend all the time in the techno room. Oh, let me watch him mix the records, for the next hour. Or, okay, now I'll go over. No. So as you were saying, Myles, yeah, I think they could just get back to hey, man, it's just a party. I'm just going to the party because it's always a good party. And also, if you look at a local nightclub where they weren't playing tech and all that, just playing top 40 hits. We had a ton of those kind of clubs in Kalamazoo. We were mainly going to the club, of course, to meet some girls. That was pretty much the reason. But some people, I would say the girls, probably some of them were going to meet guys too, but a lot of people were just going there because it's cheek to cheek or Top of the Rock or Stingers, or that's just the place you go in there. And you don't actually, you should never even check who's a DJ. You didn't care. It could be like, just somebody playing, just like at a strip club. If you go to the strip club, you're not too, okay, I'm going because of the DJ. No, it's like you're going for something else. So it's like, yeah, how do you make a techno or underground party event based on that? Like, I'm just going because there's always good music playing. And like you said, I don't even care who's from. I'm going for the place, that place, itself. And I just know it's going to be some good DJs. Maybe that's what whatchamacallit tries to do, Sisyphus. Because also you don't know who's playing, but it's always going like about blank, Sisyphus, it's always going to be a good party. Or like Berghain, they releasing the name, so he's going to be Rennie Wise or whoever, and Trezor the same. But it seems like with Sisyphus, you don't kind of know, but it's going to be a good, good party,
an
event. But yeah, it's tricky because you do need money to put things on, and some clubs won't give you the night like over here. There's some clubs you can pay. Certain rooms of the club will get the whole club, but then it's on you. Some clubs might take the risk, but they want to see that you're going to have some people in the door. So
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But I think this needs to be focused more on the music. You know what I mean? That's my personal opinion. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
What do I know? Who am I?
Mike Banks always say, music first.
Yeah.
Music first. How do you build these people to focus on the music if they're not producing the music or DJing? They're just coming to dance. So how to get it in their mind to put the music first to come and dance, without being a DJ or something involved with the whole party. Just techno lovers. But how? Don't worry about the DJ. Just come for the music. Right. Find these people.
Well, I don't know. They'll come. Who knows? So what you got in works? What's going on with you next as far as production? What's the next release? You said you're gonna do something maybe twice a year now. So
yes, I've got a next release sketched out. Tracks are done. I've not sent them to mastering yet, but I've got an idea and I've done my artwork. And the A side is going to be pretty heavy EBM ish, and the B side is going to be a bit softer.
Okay.
So again, I like the mix of something darker with something a bit more mellow, or like techno and dub on one side, and that's something that that's quite important for me. Yeah, but it will be something different again. Yeah,
the music is dope, man. I like it.
Okay, thank you.
Different, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can pick up each release and, hey, this is dope. And like I said, I know it's him. Don't sound like him. It's good. Like, you know, got some good points, man. And I do think, like, some of these labels, not all, but the schedule, the release schedule. I think when you're constantly drilling out
it's too much.
Artists, it's, you know, it's kind of like a machine, you know what I mean? I think it loses feeling after a while. It just seems like you're constantly doing something, you know what I mean?
Because you're like, who was number 417? Who was that? You know, or who was number 75? Who was that? You know, it's like,
and then it all sounds the same. And that's one thing your label doesn't. None of this stuff sounds the same at all.
Right.
You know,
and I like the fact that he sent his stuff to Hardwax just as tracks,
just to see, you
know, not even as like, hey, you know, here's a record I want you guys to distribute or put in your store. He sent it to them for them to listen, and they could have said, hey, there's some labels here to do it, or, you know, you can do it yourself. And the fact that they would probably suggest some labels that's a real cool idea, you know, to do it that way. Send it to them.
You're not really on any other labels either.
I've got one release on Diffuse Reality. It's a digital release.
Right.
Apart from that, no. And that's because when I send my stuff out, usually people don't even listen to it. Or they do and they might not reply. Or when they reply, they say, no, it's not for us, but thanks. Then I'm already more than happy because you get a response. Like, I appreciate that when people listen in and actually reply, but it's just how things are. People have to go through like 200 demo emails a day, probably, some of these big labels, you know.
You wouldn't believe.
Like a lot. And I don't blame them, but you just have to just say, like, F it, I'm just gonna do it myself. And once you have someone approved, like not just your friends who want to be nice, like one of my friends in Vienna, Mike Insinger, who does MIR records. He's an old school, like, Vienna sort of techno character who does very solid, only analog. And he did the same thing with his stuff, where he sent it to Hardwax and they were like, yeah, we'd be interested in selling this. So he gave me that advice, and then I did that. And then because any record shop, any distributor will listen to anything, they will usually get back within like a week and either say, yes, it's good, or no, it's not. So you can just say nicely, here's something that I've been producing. Do you think this is of releasable quality, or like, would you be interested to distribute? And then all they can say is no.
Right.
That's the way that I would say you can get started. And then, of course, you need to make the investment, but you can also just release digitally if you want, you know, and get your music to producers, DJs you respect, and then, you know, they will download it and play it.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. So doing it yourself. I mean, I've been both ways right now. I've did it myself. I mean, a lot of time, you know what I mean, to invest, and if you don't have the time, I get it. And then there's money, you know what I mean. So like right now, I'm actually trying to hopefully get something going with a distributor right now, because I just simply don't have the time. But I like the fact that, you know, doing it yourself, you're more control of everything, you know what I mean. You get to make all the decisions, you know, and that's a good thing, you know what I mean. So I like that you did do that, and doing that, I think in your case, I think it's a good thing, because I think it actually, you have a nice following of people. I've noticed in that, doing the research and stuff, like, you know, who's following you, where's your music being released, and it's a good thing, man. So, and I did notice on your SoundCloud that you do, when I look at the people that are actually playing his tracks, he puts them in the SoundCloud. like where it's at. And I'm like, just look at the list of people. It's a lot of people, a lot of good people, a lot of good DJs. So yeah. Good things, my man. Good things.
Let's see where it goes. I don't know, but honestly, I'm doing it because it's something I've always wanted to do, and if people like it and if it's in respectable record shops, that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then, we'll see.
Yeah. So is there anything that you want to do, like musically, that you haven't done yet, or like what's
I mix everything on headphones at home. So I would, as a change, I would just like to go to like a pro studio for maybe book 3 days or something in a professional studio with Ableton, where everything is, the best subwoofers, yada yada yada, treated room, and I can do what I do at home, but in a proper professional setting. And I think that because a lot of this is like hit and miss. There's a lot of projects that are never going to be heard by anyone because they're not good, right? But I think if you're doing it in the right environment and you can really clearly hear the frequencies that you're working with, particularly in the sub, it just makes a hell of a difference. Even if you've got good headphones, it's not the same thing. So I would like to do that, or also just work with a professional, like with a pro producer who could just sort of show me how I could just do the mix down that much better, I would say. Like these are things like, but in terms of like production, Ableton is endless, and I don't know, I wouldn't worry too much about like methods of making music. It's more about like the environment you're doing it in, or like the process of mix down and things like that. That would be something I'd be quite interested in doing.
Oh, Mr. EJK said you could book and at DIY O2 Studio in Hamburg.
Okay, that's very kind. I'll check it out. Yeah, I've never been to Hamburg though. I should go.
Me either.
Is it the Golden Poodle? That's like a famous club, which I've heard of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Golden Poodle. Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool. So yeah, man. I don't know. You got anything else, D?
I'll save that question for another time we have them back on the show, because it could lead into more other things. No, just I want to say great to chat with you today, because especially on Ableton tip. Anytime I hear someone say that about Ableton, that they take the time to learn it, and because I'm already in, like, I'm an Ableton boy, like I'm part of the club. I'm not going to change to another software. Just like the same thing with Macs. And for me, when people, you don't want to use Android, no, I'm already captured by Mac. So like Ableton, I'm captured by Ableton. So if you ever have time and you want to have some maybe online sessions through Zoom or something, like Ableton, that would be really cool. Just kind of maybe trading some ideas or seeing what each other is doing. I'm really open to that. I should join their Discord thing too. I was looking at it through the Note app, like, you join the Discord and chat with other people, like Ableton projects or whatever. So yeah, really appreciate that, man.
I think I'm gonna do that, man. Not the Discord thing, but we got time off like Thanksgiving and then Christmas. So that's my goal. So when I bombard both of you with, damn, how do you do this? How do you do that? Don't not answer my messages.
You can even, Myles, like when you're like listening, like I would suggest too on the way to work, try to listen to Brian Funk on like the podcast on your iPhone or something, because he's got like a lot of guests on there and they're talking about, like, it's always about Ableton something. I even learned some just by listening to them. I learned some things about Ableton which I didn't know before, but really even to try the Japanese method where you just do like 1 to 5 minutes a day. Like just open it up, just look at, but you're going to find yourself spending more time in it, of course, but just open it up, look at it, try to do something. Like, don't try to spend 30 minutes, just try to do 5 minutes, maybe just fuck with the kicks or the bass line or something, or maybe look at the arrangement side or, the session side, just start plucking around, and you'll see it come together. You'll be like, oh, okay, this is simple, but your mind will be like, oh, okay, I didn't know I could do all of it.
See, that's the whole thing. It's the whole part.
Yeah,
gotta get that going.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'll just say one thing to that, because you've been producing for so long, your mind is already musical, right? So you might not find it that difficult to step into Ableton. I think if you're coming from zero knowledge, like you have no musical background, like I was always really bad at playing the violin, tried to play the drums and bass guitar at school, but you have a basic understanding of like what is a rhythm, what does syncopation mean, and then like when you listen to techno, you consciously you can work out where is the tension coming from, or like if you look at like Detroit, I don't know, some Robert Hood track from the 90s, it's not the kick drum, it's not the bass, it's the hi-hats and the cymbals where the energy is. You listen to that consciously and this is what I want to do. So you already have that sort of knowledge, and then when you go into something like Ableton, you can, once you get past the first apprehensiveness of, oh my god, this is software and I don't know where to click, you will realize it's a lot simpler to get the ideas down than you might think.
Okay.
Like yeah, that's what I would think.
All right. Well, we'll see. I'll let you know.
What version do you have, Myles?
There's it's like an Ableton Lite. It's not even a full thing. It's like a light version that came with something that I had. So I mean, I updated it because I found it when I updated my other stuff that I have, and I was like, let me just, so it's there, and at some point I'm gonna have to just buy it, like update.
Yeah, just go ahead and get the suite. I wasn't going to ask you, Dying in Beauty, because I'm sure you're up to 12 point whatever the latest.
It's the one where you don't even have to know scales. You just tell it, I only want F minor and nothing else, and it does it for you. Like it's
gotcha.
It's ridiculous now.
And now with Chat GPT, you can ask questions in there, and I learned some more stuff just using that. Ableton too. I asked it specifically how to do this, and it was like, oh, okay, just clearly said it. So sometimes I go there when it's just things when something comes about, usually when I'm making something. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can make it pitch bend this kind of way or do something, generate this. Oh, wait, let me ask chat again. Oh, okay, there's a way to do that. Something, because that's what will happen. You'll be making things, producing something. You'll get somewhere and you'll wonder, can I do this? And then you'll find out that there's like 12 ways to do what you want to do up in there.
Yeah, see. That's why I be hey, AI, give me a Rob Hood beat. And there you go.
Plus, it's just cool. Ableton has a nice look to it, simple. It's just, it feels, even the program itself feels good. You go ahead and get the book by Dennis DeSantis. They'll tell you certain things. It's nice stickers that they have. I tell you, even on these JBLs headphones, I put the sticker on it. So people looking at when I'm going down, town or something, even I put the little plastic one there. Some of them are like, one guy even asked me, oh, you Ableton? I said, yeah, no, I just put the stickers there, but I do use it. I didn't want to, I didn't want to show the JBL written words on my headphones. So
See, this should be some. We should be getting some Ableton kickbacks because y'all didn't promoted this damn company.
I mean, they hooked me up, man. When 11 came, they sent that to me for free and the push too.
Nice.
So that's why I'm like, I met someone that works there a few years back when I was playing in the Malt Blank, and we got cool, and through Tim Xavier, this is a good friend of his, and he was like, "You go." So I was like, "Thanks, Ableton." That was great that they sent that. Wish they could do push 3. Now that would be really great.
Right. So Ableton, are you listening? I have a light version. I would love to upgrade to the full, so please, you can contact us through the email that nobody uses. Well, I'll be happy to take that. And any hardware like push or anything else, you send that my way too. We can do that. All right. Well, it has been great. Let's give it up for our guest today, Mr. Diane Beauty. Yes. It's been a good conversation. What's this? There's a lot of Ableton courses for techno, but Myles, how did you produce your tracks? What DAW before? If I tell you that, I'll have to kill you. So we'll discuss that later. Just kidding. We don't promote violence here. It's all good. But since we're saying that, the only violence that I do promote is to smash that damn like button, smash, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know we're here and you know that we have dope guests like Diane and Beauty and all that stuff. So you don't know until you hit the button. Smash the button, get those notifications. Just the title alone, Diane and Beauty. Watch him. Don't watch us. Watch him. Because you don't want to see us. And because of that, we are also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Again, don't see us. Follow us on Instagram, MS Live with D-KNOX. That is MS Live with D-KNOX on Instagram and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Myles Sergé. Roberto is not doing his job, y'all. So
Roberto.
You need a new job. You said you've been interviewing for a job, so we got the perfect job for you. You can answer the emails. That's the new email coordinator right there, y'all. That's where it's going. Email us, mslivewithdknox@gmail.com. That is mslivewithdknox@gmail.com. Mr. Diane and Beauty will answer all your email questions, take all the directed towards this guy because, we're wiping our hands clean of that. So, yeah. Last but not least, we are producers. We are DJs. We do live performances. Well, I don't, but Donnell does. So contact them, us, these agencies to get with us. If you missed it, please go to Horde. Mr. Knox did an excellent live PA in his new set that he's doing. It's there. Go check it out. If you want him to do that at your party, your show, your club, please hit Donnell and his agency, Stellar Booking. Contact them, Stellar Booking, booking at stellarbooking.com for D-KNOX and that wonderful live PA. You can get me at Position 2 Bookings. Position 2, that's POS2 Bookings at gmail.com. Hit those wonderful people up. I'm not doing live PAs, but I am DJing. Speaking of that, I will be in LA next week, so we won't have a show. We have a show the following week, but I will be in LA for the Destroy Planet Earth crew in LA alongside of Mr. Santiago Salazar. So please come out and check us out. It's going to be great. I'm excited. I've never been to LA, so hopefully it goes well. I will be playing polka and something, so go check it out. That's a joke, y'all. And nobody's laughing, so whatever. I might not play anything. I'm going to play like slow jazz. How about that? That'd be a different thing. We can check that out. And see, somebody did laugh. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm sure I'm missing something too. I don't know. D, am I missing something?
He gave you announcements for the They Can Hit Us Up radio, and he gave his info where people can hit him up. So I think they know.
Love jazz. I love jazz too. You guys love jazz?
Of course.
Yeah, I love jazz too.
I mean, I listen to classical music sometimes when I want to, move faster. If I'm out and about in the city and I'm trying to think clearly, and I'll put on some classical music even. But jazz, of course.
Yeah. One last question I forgot. Just random question for you. What's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist?
Yeah, in any genre of music.
Oh, any genre.
Mm-hmm.
I can't narrow it down to one person. It's impossible. But probably someone like Richard D. James, Jeff Mills, DJ wise, probably. No, I don't want to go into that conversation. But I like artists. Yeah, it's very hard to pin down.
Gotcha.
But someone like Richard D. James would have had a big influence.
Yeah, I can see that. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Cool. And last question: Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Give it up for Donnie.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Go ahead, it is. And until next time, people, please check us out. Again, we won't be here next week, but the week after. While you're there, go to the YouTube page. There's 24 episodes now. Go check us out. If you missed something, go check it out. Like and subscribe, share, support us, support everybody in the screen right here. Go check out Dying and Beauty's label, his music. Follow him, and all his info is and will be on the description of this video. Please check him out. He's dope, nice producer, good music, and we support good music here. Until then, see you later, people, and peace.